Hi, this is Mungeon Daster, your Dungeon Master and World Builder personal trainer, and today I am going to show you how to take the leftovers of your Pathfinder battles, after you bought a bunch of little miniatures, take all this trash and turn it into something awesome that you can use in your game. I think this guy here took me about an hour. That was with thinking, not really doing one of these before, but I'm going to show you guys how I did it and how to double up on your value. These things are not the cheapest. They're cool. All different kinds of stuff. They look awesome. I will not argue that. It's nice not having to paint anything. And even though I hate the random, it has introduced me to a lot of monsters that I never normally would have played with. You know, I've looked at them or flipped past them, but now that we got them, why not? So, first, the things you'll need. You could do this kind of stuff with any kind of boxes or anything, but this specifically is Pathfinder's battles. Everything fits so perfectly on it. It's kind of funny. All right, you'll need a hot glue gun. Very important. I usually put down like a piece of cardboard or just some paper. Cardboard is best. Like, just use cardboard. This table doesn't matter. This whole thing is made on. It's what I use it for. It's dirty. It's going to stay that way. Hot glue gun. Awesome. Tape measure if you want to be precise. Not necessary, but it's always nice. Lots of hot glue. You're also going to need some channel locks. You gotta be careful sometimes with cutting this wood. If you're not real good with tools, maybe you should wear some gloves or some safety glasses. Sometimes things do go flying, and be prepared for that. Jumbo popsicle sticks. Regular popsicle sticks. Itty bitty popsicle sticks. This little guy is square on the corners. It's like a toothpick, but it's not sharp, it's just square. And then you can find all this stuff at your hobby stores. It's kind of cheap. You have to buy a big bag of lots of things. You spend a few bucks. These, I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to find them, but I found a big bag of tiny little pieces, and oh my god, they're like perfect doors. Perfect. You see that? Awesome. So first, these guys are very thin, so I'm going to take my hot glue gun, boom, slap some on there, line them up. Just to let you guys know, this stuff dries real quick and does not move easy after, so boom. Thicken that door up a little bit, give it some depth, boom, that's done. Alright, so you've got your box. Now, when you buy these boxes, they usually have this guy on the back. There's a piece on the front. I ripped that off. Shove all my garbage back in here. Push that down. You gotta rip that piece off or it just doesn't work. You can cut the whole thing off if you want, but I like to keep that top nice and closed up. Gives it a little stiffness too, some support for when you put stuff on it. Boom. Alright. Step one, you're already on your way. You got all your stuff, a whole 7, 8 different things. So you got your box. First, you're going to start with these jumbo popsicle sticks. You're going to take one of them and you're going to put it up against the box. It's going to go along the bottom. When you're done, it will look like this. So, then what I do is I take a pencil, make marks along here on both of them, put it in the center if you can, and actually there's 2 different ways you're going to do this. If you can see there, I've got marks that's pretty close to the center. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to do 2 like that. And then you're going to do 2 like this, because we're going to use all those pieces later. Now, the channel locks. Getting a straight cut is kind of a pain. It takes a little bit to get good at it. But this is the part. Let's see if I can hit you guys. Oh, yeah. Takes a little wrist strength, but easy peasy. Here, we'll try again. Nope. There we go. Alright, so you're going to do all those guys up. Now, you're going to take your box. You can do them all at the, you can cut them all up, but I prefer to do one at a time, make sure that they fit pretty good. You're going to dry fit it. Does it fit on there? Yes, it does. Glue. Boom. Easy as that. Now, make sure you line it up to your bottom real good. I wish I could get this a little closer. Here, I'll try to get a little closer to you guys. There. Boom. You've got your first piece on. You're going to go through and do all 4 sides. I've got a couple here that I cut already. Throw those on real quick with you guys. I mean, honestly, once you get all set up and you've got everything, it's such a quick process. You could literally sit here and do it with me, and we'd get done at the same time. If you notice on this one, hangs over a little bit. Put some pressure on there. Doesn't take a whole lot. Take your channel locks, cut that off. Clean that up later. Splinters in your feet suck. Boom. Here, we'll dry fit this one. Good to go. I was actually very excited to figure something out to do with these boxes, because there is a lot of trash for these things, and I see people buy them in like sets of 10. That's when you get a better deal, and it's just a lot of trash, and I felt bad. So I hope a lot of you decide to turn this stuff into cool things. Here, and actually, I got another little piece I'm working on right now. Amazon box. Somebody might have just got my address. Oh, there's a mirror back there. That's cool. Yep, but this is going to be a tavern. That's a piece of fake quartz. Nothing special. I think it's probably just it's probably plastic, just painted. But we'll take all this, and now with this, you got multiple little buildings. You got the tavern, the owner's house. Maybe it's a wizard shop, and the wizard lives up on top. If he's out there working on his little crystal ball. That was one of the things I got. I think that's kind of cool with those, with these Pathfinder battle boxes, is they give you terrain stuff once in a while too. That's nice. I like having boxes and barrels and such. Also, when you're picking up all this stuff, you'll run into lots of other cool things. It's all in the same spot. Little thimbles. That's barrels. Boom. I think it was like $2 and I got like 15 of them. Be nice to paint everything. I probably won't. But, you know, the option's always there, especially if you have time. And the nice thing about Dungeons & Dragons, I've been playing for 20 years now almost. Every year, I get more and more stuff. My collection gets bigger. I've definitely thrown it away a few times, trying to impress girls, being an adult, just tired of moving over and over again. Worst thing I've ever done. Don't try to change who you are. Just be who you are. And if you like building tiny little stuff like this for the only purpose of fun, that's what you should do. Alright. So, we now have all of our base little guys. Our building has begun. Next up, you're going to need your normal popsicle sticks. This part is probably one of the more tedious parts. It's going to look like this when we're done. I'll get one side started and show you guys how I went about it. But then we're just going to use that box and jump along. And by the time I'm done with this, I'll have like 3 or 4 of these things almost finished. I'll spend probably another half hour, and boom. Alright, so what I like to do, I'll have a whole little village. Because I like to line them all up on here. Kind of a pain, they move around. Now remember with this, you don't need to be perfect. It just needs to look cool. The brain will fill in the rest. This, compared to a piece of paper, you know, you can draw some pretty cool stuff, but, I mean, look at that. If I painted it, oof. Alright, so we're going to get started on this guy. You got all your guys lined up? Just take one. You don't have to be gentle with this glue. You're going to get this stringy residue everywhere. Learn to love it. You got your first one. One falls off, who cares? You just keep on moving. And this stuff dries quick, so make sure you get that first one pretty straight. And all the way down. I have noticed sometimes, like if you're not paying attention, all of a sudden it'll be up. You want them all to line up on top and on the bottom and pretty close. That's why I did this, actually, specifically. I put this here so that I could butt everything right down into it and be nice and smooth and straight. It just so happened that everything worked out perfect. I was worried I was going to have to do tons of cutting. This box is perfect for it. Look at that. Perfect. Okay, so you've got all these guys glued on. By the time you get to the other side, all this will be dry. Flip it once, that corner will be on your table. It's not going to leave a mess unless you really put a ton on there, but even then, it's still going to be dry. Boom. Do your next side. Next side, next side. Ready to go. If one of them pops off, throw it right back on. You got some gaps in the corner, who cares? We're going to cover them up. So, the next step, we are putting on these corners. There is still a little gap there. Boom, but not there. These corners are going to help tie everything together, give it a little more strength, and give us this ledger up here. Well, this post, so that we can make a rail. Also worked out perfect. Didn't have to cut anything. So, take your box, get your jumbo popsicle sticks. Now remember, part's going to be sticking up out of the top, so don't put your glue all the way up. The stuff gets messy, but you want to try to be somewhat clean. Now, make sure you go all the way to the outside. Press that on there. Give her a turn. Do your next one. Here, and you know what? I'll actually do all of these with you. I'm assuming you paused it to do your little popsicle sticks. And now you're caught up. Should take us about the same amount of time. We're cruising. Alright, so one thing of glue. Line it up. Boom. Here. Alright. So, there. I'm halfway done with that one. Boom! Oh, magic. Whoosh. Now we're ready to do the railing. Now, this one, if you notice, those guys are rounded on this one. On the sides, I had to cut them because they didn't fit quite the same. It was a little smaller in there. We'll see if it works out the same way on this one. I'm sure it will. But we're going to start with rounded ones. Now, I put it to just barely cover those rounded spots. Although, yeah, that's what we're going to do. So, for this one, a little bit of glue on the ends. You see that? I put some pretty big globs in there. That was a decent one. Alright, we've got one side. Glue everywhere. That one will still be wet. That will be our front. The rounded spots where you're walking up to the building. So, that one's still going to be all gooey. Don't put it down on its face. Get another one. We're going to do the back side. Opposite. Here, and throw this one. This one will throw all the way up to the top. And throw another one. So, now you're going to need your pencil. And actually, what I like to do is just take one of those ends, take that rounded piece right off. Because then, now when you cut the rest, you'll take your pencil, mark it. It's still a tiny little piece, but who knows what you can use that for. These little ones are the ones that like to fly, so be careful. They will end up everywhere. The smartest thing would probably be to aim like right into a garbage can, but I'll just find it later. They're everywhere. Boom. Alright. See? Nice squared corners. Fits right in there. My corners aren't lined up perfect. It doesn't matter. Imagination takes care of everything. And this is just for fun. You don't need to be perfect. If you really want... So if you really want to be perfect, go ahead and make a perfect one. But make some cheap ones too. The cheap ones, oh, that one's orc. You know, this one's clearly much nicer than that one. If you're gonna paint it, you can paint them up different. You can paint all different kinds of stuff, little additions to clearly make them distinct, even though it's the exact same little thing. So, also, this one with the stairs, it's nice. I will be building another one like this, but I will probably build a couple that do not have an attached staircase. That way they can just be towers. I will have a detached staircase that I can just slide up to it if I need to. But yeah. Okay. So I guess this is the one. I have to do all these with you guys. Here we go. So I need 3 more. Boom. 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 So mark it. This guy, mark him. Let's see how I turn. The danger is real. Protect your eyes. Be careful. Safety is no accident. And one more. All right. Now we're to the hard part. You got everything. Oh, see, I got some stuff hanging on there. You got your box. It looks wonderful. Nothing like a nice warm box. Now we're gonna start building some stairs. This part's a little more difficult. So I used a tape measure because first thing, you're gonna have to build a box. You're gonna take a normal popsicle stick, then you'll take your tape measure, take your 1-inch mark, and start it where the end finally comes back to square. You want to get rid of that rounded end. Or maybe you don't, but I do. I don't want it for these. Not the stairs. So when you're done, it will look like that. Now, when you do this, it is not, they're not all going to be the same. I suggest you take them and put them together, see which ones are longer, which ones are shorter, and then group them all. Don't necessarily cut them or throw them away. There are some times where we'll use them. I would save a lot of this stuff too. You never know what you're going to use it for. Just have a big pile of scraps. So most of these turned out pretty close. So we'll start with making a box. Alright, let's say you've got 2 longer ones. Or one that's slightly longer actually. This part is going to be very important that they're the same size. So I just put them next to each other and then snip off the end. So you're going to put one down. Let's move this camera down a little bit. Put one little dab on the end there. And then the glue will often pull that piece up. So you just use your next piece, make a little L. This stuff is going to set really quick, so you can move it almost right away, but I usually count to at least 3 to 5 depending on how big it is, but this wood on wood, it's nice and easy. And then you're going to do the other side. You want to use a decent glob though. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you got a U. See how it's all twisted and everything? It doesn't really matter that much. You're going to be alright. Don't worry about it. Also, when I cut up my little 1-inch piece, I did a whole bunch of them at the same time. It's a lot easier. So now you're going to put some glue on the tops. And that's going to be your first step. I'm going to let this one dry. This part's tricky. You're going to take 2 of your itty bitties. We are now doing this piece. I like to take one and just dry fit it before I do anything. Just kind of throw it on there and look at it. See what I think. Is that going to work? Set it right on the ground. get an idea, pull it away, table, not ground, whatever. Boom. Then you got one. Try to match the other one. Make sure you bring it all the way up to the stair. You don't want it to be too low, and actually this one is kind of low. Just tear it right off. You gotta tear it off right away though. Be careful, this stuff breaks easy, but if you haven't noticed, it goes together real easy too. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry for a split second. Okay, so if you see in there, that step is not all the way up to the top. You want that down a little bit. These guys, I should probably, oh, they're not bad, it was just the angle. There. Now you're ready to put in your little 1-inch pieces. Usually you gotta cut up 2 of those little popsicle sticks to get enough, and then you'll have some drops. But, take your guy, make sure it fits. Put a bunch of glue on both ends. If it doesn't fit, cut it down. If it's too small, cut some bigger ones. Alright, so we're going to leave this for right now. Now you've got your stairs. That little box, staircase. Now, we're going to begin our porch. So if you see here, we are going to start by putting these 3 guys upside down. Ignore the long ones, just those 3. Now, okay, so this one will be your piece that was long and short. Where'd it go? So it won't be from the ones that you did in the center. It'll be from the one that you had slid all the way over, and then your long one. You're gonna need 3 of them. You'll probably have to cut an extra one, if I remember correctly. Okay, so I take these 3 guys, and you're gonna line them all up. Now, you're gonna take two little cutie sticks, and you're going to glue them together. Now, on the flat end is where this one's going to go. This one's going to give it some strength. Slap a bunch of glue on there. And then make sure you line it up good. Hold it for a second. On the flat end. Now you're going to do 2 more. One near the top and one on the bottom, in the middle. Make sure that your ends that are hanging over are equal on both sides. You see? Equal, relatively equal. Alright, so you let that dry, there you go. Now, you're going to build those sides right there, that piece. Here you can take 2, and you're just going to make a right corner, real easy. Make sure you line it up. Now, when you line it up, if you see, you can only see that. When I turn it this way, you see that one's hidden. that's going to be your front. So this one is actually set back. You'll make the other side opposite so that your fronts look the same. So I'll glue the second one on real quick. Just put it along this back side. And there you go, now you got your corners. So, when adding your corners, remember that your double piece is your top. You got this flat side, that's where your stairs are going to lead up to. Doubles on top, a little extra support. So you're going to take your corner, you're going to line up the bottoms, and then glue that onto both sides. There. So, now you have the start to your porch, which will lead to your door, and then we'll do the roof. Ooh, I don't think I'm going to have enough time to do the roof today. So here you have your porch. Dang, I'll run out of time. Next, we're going to add a top, another one to the top, and another one to the bottom. And then the sides.